Happy Friday, everyone. We all made it through the work week. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Even though I took 2 days off, I'm still looking forward to the weekend because, this week was very busy, very stressful. A lot was going on this week, which I'm going to share with you guys. One news I'm going to report is the Sean Diddy Combs trial, which I covered 2 days when I was in New York on Monday and Tuesday of jury selection. That's one news. Second, I'm going to talk to you about my stressful, you guys, IVF and how I'm not enjoying it. I'm not liking the whole IVF process. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't like the IVF, the procedure, not procedure. Why I keep saying procedure? The process. There we go. The process. That's how stressed that I am that I can't even speak English or get the words out of my mouth. That's the correct word that I'm trying to say. The process. I'm going to tell you my process of IVF, how I don't like it, and I was very opposed to it, but that was the only option I have, which I'm going to explain to you. And lastly, I want to talk to you about this woman who said the N-word. Yes, a white woman said the N-word to a 5-year-old autistic kid. And I just want to know your thoughts about this, and if this is okay, or if this is acceptable, even though she has a right to have free speech. We all have a right to say what we want to say, obviously, because that's our First Amendment rights. However, does that make it right for a grown woman to say an N-word to a 5-year-old autistic kid? And we're going to talk about that. So let's get started. Welcome back to That's It. So here we go. All right, you guys. Sean Diddy Combs trial. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, and it was so interesting. Like I said in my last video, I learned so much and I met a lot of interesting people, a lot of press, and got so much information. I learned so much out of those 2 days that I were there. And it was just amazing. It was just so awesome just to process everything and how the jury selection, how it works, how it runs, how the judge and the prosecutor and the defense lawyers as well, how they can pick or choose which juries that they want to select and how they're not going to be biased. And again, like I said in my last video, I don't know how you could not be biased, especially watching that 2016 video of Cassidy being beat down by Sean Diddy Combs. I just don't know how anyone could be biased about that and how they don't feel a certain type of way after seeing that video. And I can understand you hear a lot of things about Sean Diddy Combs and everything's allegedly, but just actually seeing the video itself, how could you not be biased? But anyway, I don't know. But day two of the trial, I have to say, Diddy appeared very nervous, very frail, a lot of gray hairs, a little, black hair, but obviously when you're in jail, you can't dye your hair. But looked very thin, his face. And I have to say he was very engaging during the whole trial and the whole selection of the jury. He was very engaging. He was very, what's the word? Not process, no. I keep saying process. I don't know why I have process in my brain. He was very, like I said, engaging. Like he was very involved. He was involved in the jury selection, and he gave his attorney, Mark Zakalo, hopefully I'm saying it right, his input of certain juror, and he was very engaged. But the thing is, he seemed, like I said, he seemed very, very nervous to the point that he asked the judge if he can be excused to use the restroom because he was very nervous, and rightfully so. I would be nervous if I had all these charges against me from the federal government for racketeering, conspiracy, prostitution, and what else that he's alleged? Three things, but can't remember the third one on top of my head. And that he might spend the rest of his days in prison because he turned down the plea deal. And like I said, we don't know what the plea deal was offered to Sean Diddy Combs, but he turned it down. So he turned it out feeling confident in himself and his attorney team that he can fight all these charges, that he will be exonerated. But we don't know. At the end of the day, it's really in God's hands once they pick the jury, and in the 2-month trial, when it starts to begin. Actually, next Monday, the first opening statement, which I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it, even though I'm not there. But like I said, I'm glad I met some really amazing people that they can inform me some information because they live in New York. This one girl that I met, she lives in New York, and she's going to be reporting the trial throughout the whole trial, and then she's going to give me information, which is very helpful that I can tell you guys what's been going on because, as you know, it's not televised because it's a federal case. So when it comes to a federal case in the government, it's not televised opposed to if it was a state. So that's why it's not being televised if anyone is wondering about. But I'm just very curious about the opening statement. And like I said, they had some names, celebrity names listed, and I believe those are names that are going to be testifying against Sean Diddy Combs. Obviously, we know that Cassidy Ventura is going to be testify, but there's other names as well that I want to mention to you: Mike Myers, Michelle Williams for Destiny Child, Kanye West, Al Shore, Kid Cudi, and anyone who don't know who Kid Cudi is, he's a rapper that used to date Cassidy, that his car got blown up allegedly by Sean Diddy Combs and his goon. So he's going to testify to that. Dallas Austin, I don't know why Dallas Austin is in the list. I'm not really 100% sure. And the last name that I written down was Dawn Richard. Anyone who don't know who Dawn Richard is, she's from the making of the band. And also who is suing Sean Diddy Combs for oh gosh, I'm trying to remember all the lawsuits for harassment and something else, mistreating her during the time when she was in making up the band. Now, these are incredible, I wouldn't say high profile, but incredible celebrities, okay, that's going to be testifying against Sean Diddy Combs. Now, I didn't know Michelle Williams. I was shocked about Michelle Williams and Mike Myers. Very shocked. The rest of the names, I'm not shocked about. But those two, and Michael B. Jordan, those three names really stood out to me because I didn't know there were that involvement with Sean Diddy Combs, especially Mike Myers from Austin Power. If anyone knows about the movie, great movie, very funny. Mike Myers is such a funny comedian. But those three names really stuck out to me. Michael B. Jordan, did I say that? Yeah, that stood out. That was just very weird that his name was named from the list. Michelle Williams as well. So I'm going to be not going to be surprised, but I'm just very not shocked, but I'm just very, what's the word? I'm just looking forward to why their names are on the list. Like, is these people are to testify against Sean Diddy Combs? I'm assuming, but my thing is, those three names. Why those three names? Even though I already named you the list, but those three particular names, what relationship they have with Sean Diddy Combs? That's the word I was trying to get at. What relationship do they have with Sean Diddy Combs? I can understand the rest of them, but those three, that just really threw me off the loop here. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an update about the jury selection. It was very interesting. I really had a good time up in New York. I got the chance to spend time with my girlfriends, my best friends up there, and covering Sean Diddy Combs' trial as well. Like I said, I won't be there next week because I'm back in Orlando and I have to work, unfortunately. But I'm so blessed and grateful that I met some really good people that we're going to keep in touch and going to give me information about the Sean Diddy Combs case throughout the whole trial for 2 months. It could be less. It all depends on the evidence that they present, the testifying, everything. So it all depends how long the trial is going to be. So like I said, I will keep you updated about that. And I had a great time. I really did. I met some really interesting, cool people, and they were just amazing and nice. And they were just, following the story and getting getting the whole perspective out of this, especially for me, because I don't work for anyone. This is me doing this on my own, on my YouTube channel, sharing it with you viewers, and letting you know my experience and how it was cool. I have to say it was really cool, and I definitely would do it again if I do have the time, to fly back out to New York to cover more of Sean Diddy Combs. I would do it. I would do it if I have the time. But I just wanted to let you guys know I had a really great experience. covering the case, and it was interesting. It was interesting to cover like a high profile case that I never done before. But I was excited. I'm glad I had a good time. I'm glad I met some great people, and we're going to keep in touch. And I will definitely keep you updated on Sean Diddy Combs' trial. Moving on, you guys. Moving on. So I just want to tell you my IVF. Okay, like I told you in my video, that the doctor that I spoke to last Friday, Dr. Kendall. So IUI is not IU. Yeah, IUI is out of the cards for me because I can't do it because of my husband's sperm count and the amount of eggs that I have. And I do have the report with me, so I can explain it more detailed to you, opposed to how I didn't explain it more thoroughly because I was still in shock. I was still trying to process the news that she was giving to me. But now that I processed everything and I've read her findings, I can explain it more better to you. So, like I said, I have 3%, you guys, 3% chance of success of the IVF. Okay, IVF, 3%. 3% is better than no percent. Okay, I'm very hopeful. I trust in the Lord, as in God's hands. I'm going to do my absolute best to follow the procedure, the steps, the treatments that I need to do in order for this IVF to work. And I get one cycle, one trial of this. God forbid if it doesn't work, you guys, that's it for me. I have to figure out other options to get pregnant, and and that's it because of my age, because of my husband's sperm. So just keep us in your prayers. I really appreciate it. But the whole IVF, I never wanted to do it in the first place. I want to be very transparent and honest with you guys. IVF was not in my radar. I was really focused on doing the IUI. Like I said, I did my research. I wanted to do it because it was cheaper and it was much easier opposed to IVF. IVF has so much steps that you have to go through or jump hoops to do this, to do that, to do that. It's like X, Y, and Z. And it was just really bringing me down, you guys. I felt so discouraged that I didn't even want to do this anymore because that's how discouraged I felt because it was just so much to do. And I give you an example. There's certain medications that I need to get in order to start the treatment, and certain medication requires prior authorization. And people who don't work in the medical field, prior authorization is basically if you need a certain medication or if you need an MRI done or certain injections, your insurance company from the facility who um, orders the test for you, they have to get prior authorization from the facility. So once that prior authorization is approved, then the insurance company will run the medication and for them to pay the majority of it, and then whatever's left over, that's your responsibility. Instead of paying the whole thing out of pocket. So I was literally, you guys, going back and forth on Tuesday, okay, while I was covering Sean Diddy Combs' trial. And then once that was over, I was on the phone with the insurance company, finding out if this medication was covered. And I can't even pronounce the names, but there's several medication that need a prior authorization. But before they can do that, I wanted to make sure that my Cigna insurance covers it, which they did. So long story short, I called both facilities to make sure, listen, these medications need prior authorization. Can you put a stat on it? Okay, that was taken care of. Came back today, in which this was on a Wednesday, because I returned back to work on Wednesday, and I call specialty pharmacy to make sure that everything is good to go so they can ship the treatment, because I can't start the treatment until Saturday, and today's Friday. So when I called on Wednesday, everything was approved except for two medication that still needed prior authorization. I'm like, what is going on here? I felt like I was the middleman, okay? Like trying to call the facility and then call the specialty pharmacy when the facility where I'm getting this treatment should call my insurance and also call specialty pharmacy to make sure everyone is on the same page. And I feel like I'm the middle person just trying to call a bunch of people to make sure everyone is doing their job. And I said to myself, before I went away to New York, and then I told her that I want to start this IVF right away. Okay, shouldn't they got prior authorization last week before made a schedule for me, and then you telling me that I need to take this certain medication by Friday, which is the patches for the hormones, and then Saturday start taking the compound trigger injection. Now the compound trigger injection, Cigna does not cover it. I have to pay out of pocket because it's a commercial insurance. So I have to pay that out of pocket, which is $195, which is not too bad. It could be worse, but it still is a lot of money, especially when you don't have $195. But I'm going to make it work because I always make things work and make things happen. Okay, so they told me that, which I was aware of. So I have to pay that out of pocket. But the rest of the medication that needed prior authorization that they should have got, and then they run their, so my insurance can run the medication to make sure that it's approved, it's good to go, so they can ship it. Because I don't know how the delivery is, if it's from FedEx or from UPS. I do not know. I'm so sorry I'm scratching my nose. Again, this freaking allergies or dust here. And I cleaned my apartment very well, thoroughly before I went away. I don't know why my nose is itching, but anyway, maybe because I'm just so upset and annoyed. So, still Wednesday. And then at this point, I was talking to Alicia from Specialty Pharmacy, and I was just telling her my frustration. This is like really hard because this is stressful on me, and then I can't be stressed because I have to be calm and make sure that I'm in a good headspace to do all this treatment, because I just don't want to make a mistake, because I get one shot of this, guys, one shot. After this is over, it's a wrap. And I was explaining this to her, and she understands where I'm coming from because she used to work in an insurance company. So I was just like, telling her, this is not right. This feels so discouraging for women who are doing their part, who's calling their insurance company, make sure everyone is on the same page, making sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to do, and then you call back and nothing is being done from the facility. And that's the frustration that I was getting, like the Shady Grove facility. Whoever's trying to get the prior authorization for me, they're not doing their part. And then I'm getting stressed because I'm looking at the treatment calendar that I have to get this done. I have to do this Friday and Saturday, but it's Wednesday, and at the time, no medication. And I still haven't got any medication. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening here? Excuse my language. And I'm like, I don't want to pay all this money, my husband and I, and then we make a mistake, and then we do a half-ass injection, and then it doesn't take and doesn't work, and then that's it. It's over. And I don't want to do that. And I made it very clear to the nurse. Not to the nurse. I called the manager because I was upset. I'm like, this is not right. I feel like I'm the middleman calling back and forth to my nurse who's handling my case. Specialty pharmacy, when the nurse should be calling the specialty pharmacy and my Cigna insurance. I shouldn't be calling at all. They should be calling me saying that when you're going to be around to ship this medication and for me to pay. That's what I should be doing. I shouldn't be going back and forth and calling this person, calling that person. And that's why I feel so discouraged, that to the point that I don't even want to do the IVF anymore, because it's just so stressful. And it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be like this. And that's why I want to ask the women out there, is it really like this? Because this is my first time ever doing this. And I've never done IVF before. When I was in New York, my best friend did it when she was 39. And she told me the ins and outs about it and what to expect. Cool. At least I know, because I like to be prepared. I don't like to be blindsided. I like to be prepared mentally, physically, everything. And obviously prayer, and to know what to expect. But this part of the insurance company, very stressful, very hard. And I just wish more people would talk about this. And I guess I'm the only one that's talking about this. It's a lot. It's already expensive as it is. And I'm grateful to God that the insurance company is covering portions of it. But there's other portions that I'm covering it myself, that my husband and I have to pay out of pocket, which is not too bad, because a lot of couples, they pay a lot more. So I'm grateful. The only thing that I have to cough up, to be honest with you, is $2,615 that my husband and I have to pay out expensive, which is not too bad. It could be worse. However, it's just the whole process. Like, I just feel like it's just all being rushed, and I don't want to feel like I'm being rushed taking these medications, but I don't even have it yet. You get what I'm saying? I don't even have it. And this should have been done when I left. And I even made it very clear to my head nurse, Alexa, that I'm going away. I spoke to her last Friday, okay, after Dr. Kendall gave me the results. That was what, the second, I believe? Let me check, because I got to make sure I get my dates right. I don't want to F up my dates. Yeah, this was May 2nd, okay? I left to go to New York May 3rd. As soon as soon as I hung up the phone with Alexa, she should have started prior authorization because this was still in the afternoon. This was not like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This was like 1 o'clock. She should have started the prior authorization for those medications that I needed to take. She should have started Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Then once everything was ready, boom, 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 called specialty pharmacy. They tell me how much it is, give them my information, they ship it. Then I would have had everything. But now I don't have anything. So I'm gonna and I told the manager because I was like very upset and I started crying. I'm like, this is not right. This is our lives, my husband and I. And I was very transparent with her. Like, I want to make sure we're doing this right because you don't understand. This is my first, I mean, not first, this is my only shot of getting pregnant. 3% success, okay? 3%. And this is my one trial cycle of IVF. If it doesn't work, I'm screwed. I'm not saying I'm screwed, but you know what I mean. I can't do IVF anymore. And to be frankly honest with you guys, I wouldn't even want to because of the stress and all this crap that I have to go through. I don't think I would do it again if there was an option for me to do it again because it's just too much. It's just so overwhelming, so much information, and it's a lot. And I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself. I just wanted to let women know out there that's going through this to let them know that this is a lot because no one doesn't talk about like the whole insurance thing, like the process or like behind the scenes. Everyone says about the other stuff, but this is a lot. And on top of that, I was supposed to get my patches. It was out of stock. They didn't have it. So they had to call another pharmacy at Publix. So luckily they have it, but I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, which is Saturday. So it's like, it's one thing after another. I'm like, hot damn. Like, can I at least get a break here? Like, I don't know if God is telling me a sign to pump the brakes and wait and start in June to make sure that they have everything in order before my husband and I pay for everything. And then because I have this month, May, and then June. June, that's when they start the egg retrieval. But I feel like I don't have anything. I don't have anything to start with. So I just don't want to waste all this money and then pay and then mess everything up, all the steps that we have to do, and then it doesn't work. So that's why I feel like I told the doctor, the manager, excuse me, like maybe we should just start it in June so that everything is approved, everything is good to go. I have the green light, and then we can start it the right way. Because again, I'm a type of woman, I don't do things half-assed, and I don't want to feel like I'm being rushed or pressured. I want to do this right. Because at the end of the day, this is our life. This is our life that we're trying to build a family with. And this is the only chance, the only option. This is not the only option, but this is the only IVF is the only trial that I get to do, and that's it. Other than that, my husband and I have to figure other options to start a family, whether it's fostering, whether it's adoption, or whether Dr. Kendall advises to have embryo donors. It all depends. It all depends how my husband and I feel, and that's something that we have to talk about privately. But that's my IVF drama, my situation. I will definitely keep you updated about that. It's just it's a journey and it's a lot. And again, I'm not going to advise anyone not to recommend not to do IVF. It's not for everyone. You have to do what's best for you, whatever you and your spouse feel about it. But for me, I'm having a bad experience with IVF. The whole journey, the whole process, I'm not having a good experience at all. But everyone is different. I'm very hopeful that it will get better once everything is approved, authorized by my Cigna insurance, that everything is paid for on their end and my end as well, that we can just start this IVF. And I just hope and pray that, I get pregnant by this first round. And you hear stories that it works the first round with other women, and sometimes it takes like three or four. And unfortunately, in my case, I don't have that option. I get one try of this, and then that's it. This is what God has dealt, the cards that God dealt with me with, and something that I have to, accept. But you know what? I trust in the Lord. God is good. He's faithful. He's great. This is in His hands, and all things are possible. If He can get Sarah and Hannah pregnant, obviously He can do it for me. I just have to trust and believe, and have the faith, and which I do, and my husband do, and we pray all the time. and other people are praying for me. So I appreciate each and every one of you. You know who you are, that you praying for my husband and I, for us to get pregnant, for the IVF to work. So I really, really appreciate and love you all for all the prayers, including you guys too that's listening in. So that is my IVF journey. So moving on that one, because it was kind of a little depressing. So sorry about that, but I just wanted to share with you guys and give you the update. Now, the last news that I want to report is, let me ask you a question. If you're at the park with your son and daughter, and you have this random woman just walk up to your kid, okay? And this woman called your kid the N word. What would you do in that situation? What would you do if some woman just came up and told your child the N word repeatedly and they were autistic? What would you do in that situation? I don't know about you. I'm Christian. I think I would fight someone. I think I would do something to that woman, because I'm like, how dare you? How dare you say that disgusting word to my son or daughter, and they don't even know what that means, first of all. And second of all, you're an adult, because my son or daughter took one of your kids' toys, that gave you the audacity to say the N-word to my child, instead of like coming to the parents and say, hey, your son or daughter have my kid's toy. You know what I mean? It's simple, but to repeatedly say it and you are proud of it, you're disgusting. She's disgusting. And who I'm talking about is Shiloh Hendrix. Yes, Shiloh Hendrix is a woman caught on camera continuing using the N-word, acted directly towards a 5-year-old who is autistic. 5. Disgusting. And the funny thing is, everyone has a right, and everyone's debating about it because, she has a right to say things. Yes, everyone has a right to say whatever you want to say. That's your amendment rights. But when you say something so disgusting, you're a racist. That's a racist thing to say to a 5-year-old who is autistic, the N-word. Like, who is she? She's disgusting. And on top of that, she's running a fundraiser. And the fundraiser is Give, Send, Go. And that name sounds familiar, you guys, right? Because that's what Carmelo Anthony, the alleged killer, stabbed Austin Metcalf. That both parties did this fundraising, give, send, go. And this woman, she's doing exactly the same thing because she's playing victim. And she almost raised almost $1 million. Almost $1 million. And I'm thinking to myself, so it's okay for someone to say a racist slur and start a GoFundMe and get paid for it. Like, that is acceptable for bad behavior? Like, are we accepting bad behavior and paying people for saying things that just really uncalled for and very disgusting? I'm just so curious. What is happening to our society, you guys? What is happening to our society that people can just say disgusting things and they're getting paid for it? Which I feel like, in my opinion, it should not be allowed. It should not be allowed at all. We all can have freedom of speech and say what we want, but come on, it has to be common sense and with reasons. You can't just come up and just say the N-word to a 5-year-old. You just can't. And then people are campaigning about it like it's okay, and it's not okay. And then they're giving her money. I feel like I'm in the wrong business, people. I'm in the wrong business. So I should be racist and say some crazy thing, and then I just go start up a fundraiser and the people just pay me. Because it's my right, because I have the right to have freedom of speech. That's the argument about, that she was not in the wrong. But a lot of people saying that she's in the wrong because she's racist. For you to say that, you are a racist person. You are a disgusting, despicable person. And I'm going to let you guys be the judge for yourself. And I have the video, and I want you to tell me what you think. Am I in the wrong for saying that she's racist, or she should have a GoFundMe, or does she should be taking accountability of the action and the word that she used to a 5-year-old? She's an adult. Kids are going to take toys out of other kids, but it's the way you do it, it's the way you present yourself. You just don't call a kid a kid the N word because you feel like it or you think that the kid deserve it. That is utterly wrong and disgusting. But you don't have to take my word for it. We're going to play it right. I'm going to play it right now, and then let me know your thoughts. Here we go.
You called him a child?
Oh, excuse me. I am so sorry, you guys. I didn't even pop it up on the screen. There we go. My bad. You'd think I would know how to do this. Here we go.
You called him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a... Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say. Nobody digging to you. That little kid, you call him the little child? Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and live with the N-word. That's what you're going to call him. You know, that's a hate speech. And you can't be able to that. Huh.
Okay. I agree. That's definitely a hate. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oops, lost you there. That's definitely a hate speech. And you heard the gentleman saying that she was about to hit the 5-year-old. Hit the 5-year-old. I'm just so curious, you guys. Where was the parents? Because I'm telling you, if that was me, I would have been in jail. Okay, you're not going to call my child the N-word. First of all. Second of all, you're not going to even try to put your hands on my child. Third of all, I would have called 911 because that's definitely a hate speech that you would directly say to a 5-year-old boy who is autistic. Shame on her. It's disgusting. And then people actually pay for her GoFundMe. Like you're supporting hate speech. That is hate speech. Okay? Just like when people protest, there's peaceful protest, but when you say hateful words and you what's the word I'm trying to get at? When you promote hate speech and violence, that's when things draw the line. And I feel like people get confused with that. Oh, we should have freedom of speech. We should say what we want to say. Yes, correct. But when it comes to hate crimes, hate speech, no, that's where you draw the line. Two things can be true at the same time. Okay, let's get that straight. However, you can't just spew hate speech or hateful words to someone and think that's okay. That is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. And it's absolutely disgusting. And what she did is disgusting. And for people to support her of her being racist, because she is racist, because she said it multiple times that the N word and she's racist, she is racist. And for me, I will never understand why people support women like her and giving them money out of this. I just don't understand that. I feel like we're in the wrong society because this is just unacceptable. So we have to pay people for bad behavior. That's what's happening in this world. So when someone gives hate speech or do things that's just crazy, we reward them with money. Your hard money, not me. Okay, she's lucky I don't live in that state. I don't remember what state she lives in. That couldn't be me. Because first of all, I would have been in jail. Okay, you're not gonna do that to my kid. You shouldn't be doing it to anyone's child, first of all. That's just terrible. And then you was gonna put your hands on that kid because the kid took your kid's toy? Like, what are you, 4? You're their adult. You should be setting an example. And I feel sorry for that kid. I really do, because that kid saying that, oh, if my mommy can do it, then that's mean I can do it too to the next kid. You see how that is? That's how cycle runs. Because children look up to their parents. We as an adult set examples for our children. So when you steal and your kids seeing that, they're thinking that that's okay. When you kill, your children thinking that that's okay. When you hit someone, your children think that's okay, which is not okay. We as an adult have to set good examples for our children, for them to be better, not to be worse. And what this mother is doing, Shiloh Hendrix is an awful human being for her children. That's just terrible, terrible. But let me know your thoughts about this and what would you do in that situation? And I really want to hear your honest opinion. And again, this is a safe place. This is no judgment. I really want to know, what would you do in that situation if that happened to your child? What would you do? I already told you what I will do. And I'm being very honest. And anyone that knows me, if that was my kid, oof, I would die for my kid. Okay, that's the thing. I will be one of those mama bears that I will lose my mind when it comes to my children. You might as well put me on a straitjacket because that's how protective I am of my kids, especially that my husband and I are trying to get pregnant, and it's been a real challenge and um, difficult journey for us. So just imagine someone said that to my kid. No, we're gonna have a problem. Okay, me, you, and God. You're gonna have a problem with me. So again, let me know your thoughts and your comments about this. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate each and one of you listening to my video and giving me your comments and your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.